Hello recruits, Cosmic Rome C here. So, a few months back, a Minecraft YouTuber named Dream made a video that blew me away. He made the absurd claim that you could perform a 5-block jump in Minecraft with no speed modifiers whatsoever. I was astonished when he provided a video by another YouTuber named Uber proving the jump to be possible, as well as a map so you could test it for yourself. Later on in the video, however, Dream continues to say that if you can keep building up momentum, there may be no limit to how far you can end up jumping.
How many jumps would result in the perfect amount of momentum, the maximum momentum to make the longest jump? It's at least 5 blocks. But who's to say if we run 100 billion sprint jumps that we couldn't jump, say, 15 blocks?
This got me thinking. How does momentum work in Minecraft? Can you keep building it up, or is there a cap? I looked for some answers online, however, any videos I could find on the subject either didn't provide enough evidence, had faulty logic, or just didn't give a clear answer. It was then that I decided that it was time to do some testing. I loaded up a super flat world and put in a basic script with the command blocks. Commands are much more precise than frame-by-frame examinations, by the way. First, I used some Minecraft scoreboards to make a variable for distance. Each time the player jumps, this distance variable is set to 0. Second, I tell the game to subtract the x position of where I started my previous jump from our distance variable. Third, I tell the game to update my x position after I've completed a jump. And lastly, I add this new x position to the distance variable. In other words, our distance variable is set to the x position at the end of the jump minus the x position at the start of the jump. As I start hopping around, you may notice that the numbers on my screen are very large. As you might expect, there's no way I'm jumping over 300,000 blocks every time I make a hop. Unfortunately, scoreboards really do not like decimals, so what I had to do was scale up these decimals into much larger whole numbers. So, to get the most precise results, I multiplied everything by 100,000. This means to get the real distance that you jumped, you'd have to divide your distance variable by 100,000, or just take a decimal point and put it 5 spaces from the end. Okay, so I think I got the command block set up correctly. Let's just go and see what happens. I'll have to line myself to the x-axis. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Anyways, after about a minute of sprint jumping, it became quite obvious that my speed wasn't going to increase very much more. It was stopping right at about 4.276 blocks, and that was the best I was able to get. Even if you go out for thousands of blocks, the increases would be so small, if any, that you wouldn't notice them. It wouldn't be significant enough for you to jump an extra block. Alright, so our methodology is solid, and we've established that 4.276 blocks is about as far as it can jump in Minecraft. Case closed, right? Not yet. If the maximum is only a little bit above 4 blocks, a 5-block jump should be impossible. And yet we quite plainly see in Uber's video that the 5-block jump can be done, so I gave the map a try on my own. Let's just say it didn't go very well. First of all, it's very precise. You can't just hold sprint and jump at the same time and call it good. You need to release your jump key in mid-air and press it back down after you land if you want to time it right. Secondly, it doesn't seem to work in 20W20B, because at the given angle, you always go a little off the edge towards the end. Supposedly everything is lined up for you, so I don't understand why this is happening. I may be doing it wrong, but I couldn't manage to figure out a way to make it work. So, that begs the question. What's going on? Were both Dream and Uber cheating in their videos? Did they somehow find a way to collaborate and fool us all? And to that, I say, no. Well, not exactly. You see, Minecraft blocks allow you to walk a little off the edge of them. This is the reason you can bridge off of blocks in the game. So, if you take the full collision boxes into account, the story does change a bit. Now, visually, it is indeed a 5-block jump. You can clearly see 5 distinct blocks in between the 2 that you're jumping to and from. The thing is, collision-wise, the gap is only 4.4 blocks. You can test this out for yourself in any Minecraft world, but by crouching and going to the edge of a block in any direction, you can see that the collision box is actually 0.3 blocks larger than the actual block itself. Considering that, that means we can subtract 0.3 from our 5 block gap twice. This would be one for the block you jump off of and another for the block you jump onto. 5 minus 2 of those 0.3s gives you 4.4 blocks, which is only about an eighth of a block more than the maximum I suggested earlier. Alright, we've made some progress, but there's still something missing. We're not quite there yet. Luckily, I believe this can be explained with collision detection and game design. Disclaimer, this is where some speculation comes in and I don't have as much substantial proof. When you come at blocks at the right speed and the right angle, the game could sometimes accept a slightly short jump and place you on top of the block. Not only that, but we can turn this the other way around. If you're sprinting, you may be able to start your jump a little further than 0.3 blocks away from your starting block. It wouldn't be much, but again, we're already only 1/8 away, so even a 1/16 of a block would prove that this 5 block jump is perfectly possible. There's more to this theory though. If we watch Uber's clip, right as he completes the jump, we can see some distortion in the corner of the trapdoor. This may indicate some sneaky edits, but I think it's just the game's collision detection correcting his position mid-frame, jolting him slightly upwards and letting him complete the jump. On the screen it is a bit smeared, but I believe that's because he was using software to stitch frames together and make it look smoother. Errors like this can often occur when there's not much data to work with, like with a very sudden jolt upwards. And while I accept there may be a different or even better reason than this, as a game developer myself, I can say that it's very plausible that this is the reason for the discrepancy. Collision detection often takes neat shortcuts like this, especially when you're moving at high speeds or cutting around corners or colliding with edges. So, let's do a quick recap. First of all, by aligning yourself perfectly, you'll reach a maximum jumping distance of about 4.27 blocks. This will happen after about 10 or so jumps, and you won't have any expected gain beyond that. Secondly, a 5 block jump is actually 4.4 blocks, since you do have the extra 0.3 blocks of wiggle room on either side of your jump. Lastly, the difference between 4.276 and 4.4 can be explained by collision detection changing your position ever so slightly when touching a block or colliding with it at high speeds. And with all of this in mind, it appears that a 5 block jump, while just barely being possible, is the furthest jump you can make in Minecraft. This also means that, in turn, Dream's claim that larger jumps could be possible is incorrect. I apologize if this is disappointing to anyone, but for all intents and purposes, being able to make longer jumps isn't that necessary. Even if you could, the build-up it'd take to gather that much momentum would take way too long for it to be practically worth it. If you liked the video, I would greatly appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I'd also love to hear from you guys and get some feedback on this video in the comments. Whether you have a question that you need to ask me, or you find a flaw in my logic or think I'm dead wrong, go ahead and tell me right in the comments so I can improve in my next video. And that just about does it for this video. Again, I really hope you enjoyed this, and I can't wait to see you in my next video. Goodbye, recruit.